Thank you. And welcome everyone to Larimer County. And I would just like to begin by thanking Michelle and Karen for all the work that they've done putting together this series. We would not have been able to have the effectiveness of the speakers and the programs without the support of the Water Center, and I really appreciate that. And without Michelle's help, we wouldn't be able to have these all filmed and on time and ready to go. So my role tonight is really to talk about why is Larimer County concerned about water planning. And I would begin by saying it's because of the passion of the three elected officials that we have right now. All of them, as Commissioner Shattuck McNally mentioned, are graduates of the Water Literate program and have varied interest in supporting issues related to water. The county is not a water provider, but in our comprehensive plan, we are identified by our community as a convener of some regional issues. And the Board of County Commissioners has asked that we convene information related to water. And so we'll share tonight how we're doing that. One of the first ways is we're looking at water planning countywide. So right now there's a lot of individual water plans for various water providers in the region, but there's not a comprehensive plan that covers the entire county. We're even working with our partners in Weld County to discuss how we could do something jointly with Weld County. So we're also part of the NOCO Water Alliance. I'm not going to touch on that very much, just to share what the county's role is in that, because you'll have another speaker tonight to speak on that. We've also developed a climate smart future ready plan, and that has some components in it that impact water planning and water usage. And then finally, we're beginning an adoption of another 5-year strategic plan, and we also have goals and objectives related to water within that plan. Our foundational work began in 2022 with an existing conditions assessment, and you can read for yourself the scope and the deliverables, but it was the first time that the county has undertaken looking at water conditions across the county overall. One of the key takeaways we learned through that process is the relationship between what we're seeing for response to disasters that occur in our county and the relationship between the watersheds. And so that existing conditions report provided a lot of good information that the Office of Emergency Management is using today and that we'll use continuing moving forward with the water plan that we didn't have previously. This is a picture of the plan and the website that you can find it at. And so I included that if you want to go ahead and take a look at it at a later time. That led us to developing a water master plan. We were able to secure federal funding to do this plan as well as local funding to match it. We're in the process of doing that. We've gone through a request for proposal process and selected some firms to help us. Because of what we learned about the relationship to resiliency in our community related to natural disasters, we hired a firm that is specializing in identifying what they call high hazard areas in the county related to water. And so we're anxious to get that mapping done and get that information to our teams. Who's going to be involved in this? You can see on the left-hand side all the different agencies within Larimer County that are helping with the water plan. And then on the right-hand side, we also have partner agencies throughout the region that are assisting everyone from environmental groups to the other municipalities or water districts that are in the area. What our role is we want to use these documents for long-range planning. We want to better inform the community for information related to potential disasters, whether there are things that have happened already that have impacted the watersheds or things that may happen in the future. We want to be able to collect data. So as I mentioned earlier, there hasn't been a data set for the entire county, so we'll be able to use this master plan for those purposes. Our data is public, so any of the other water providers or other agencies can use the information to better coordinate maybe their nonprofit agency response in their work in the watersheds. And we want to especially then take recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners that might deal with any kind of regulations that the county might enact to assist in reducing the risk of water scarcity within our county. And so those are the things that we're looking forward to doing after the master plan is completed. This is a list of the events we've held to date. We've formed a water advisory group to help with the master planning efforts. We formed a technical advisory committee. And then just last week, our first public open houses began on the water plan. There is also public questionnaires that can be filled out by the community. And again, the website is listed down at the bottom of the slide if you want to participate in that. In the NOCO Water Alliance, the county is new to this planning effort. And again, we're not a water provider, but we certainly have water interest in terms of agricultural use. As well, our Department of Natural Resources manages the reservoir system, so we have a very large interest in recreational use of water. And so we were invited to participate in this alliance. As a participant, we provide information to the Board of County Commissioners about the work of the alliance. The county is a regulatory authority for very large water projects. So if you think of the Thornton Pipeline or the NIST project or the Glade Reservoir project, the Board of County Commissioners has oversight for those projects and has to issue a permit before those projects can move forward. And again, I mentioned the agricultural and watershed health. And then the other thing that we are looking at are fee schedules. So one of the key things that we're working regionally on is the high cost of water related to housing and or usage of water. So right now, all of the water districts have separate fee schedules. And that might encourage development to occur in a certain area of the county rather than another area of the county. And that development might be a large distance away from jobs, for example. So that causes more challenges with transportation. And so as an alliance of Larimer County and Weld County, we're talking about how can we work together to get housing closer to jobs and closer to where the water is that can serve that population. In our Climate Smart Future Ready program, we're in phase 3 of the plan development. The purpose is to help us better adapt and mitigate the social, economic, and environmental risk that the county faces from climate change. We have over 50 partner agencies that are being coordinated through this effort. And specifically related to water, we want to increase water use efficiency across the urban, agricultural, and ecological needs of our community. And that includes work for ourselves. So Larimer County has a separate plan to implement these very same goals. It's called I Care, and we're working on becoming more efficient ourselves. And then finally, our strategic plan. We're also in the final stages of development on the strategic plan. Our previous strategic plan did have some water sharing goals and water planning goals as well, which led to these planning efforts. And our current strategic plan will have a natural and built environment goal, and that will include things to improve the air and water quality in the region, as well to improve forest and watershed health. And we don't know specifically what they're going to be because the plan isn't quite done, but we know the topic areas on that. And with that, I'd invite any questions you might have.
And I'll remind folks too that we'll have panel discussion at the end. So if you have clarifying questions about the presentation, now is the time to do that. If you kind of have bigger picture questions, we'll wait till all of our presenters have had their chance, and then we'll bring all of our panel forward, because a lot of times the questions that you all have, it's not just for one person. You'll want multiple answers, right? So any clarifying questions for Laurie? You're so good, Laurie. Thank you.